Did Nebraska play good in the fourth quarter in any game this year? The Wisconsin was what we thought, but that was 10-8.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
not
looking at.
Did they ever solidly win the fourth quarter?
All right, here are the scores, Jack, for Nebraska in the fourth quarter in 2024. 3-0 versus UTEP.
No.
They lost 7-0 versus Colorado.
Yeah, fourth quarter sucked, man.
They beat Northern Iowa 7-0 in the fourth quarter.
No, that's not good enough.
7-7 versus Illinois.
Yeah, that was
you want to throw in overtime. Okay, here's the answer. They beat Purdue 21-7 in the fourth quarter.
They beat Purdue at the end.
All right, here's some really bad.
They kind of poured it on, didn't they, at the end?
Yes, they got like a pick six. Didn't they have a pick six or something?
Yeah.
Rutgers 7-0. Indiana 14-0.
For Nebraska? Did Nebraska get 2 touchdowns in the fourth? Good Lord.
No. Indiana outscored Nebraska 14-0. Yeah, Nebraska outscored Ohio State 8-7 in the fourth quarter.
There's the other one. They needed one more play, but they definitely played well in that fourth quarter.
Here's a depressing game, Jack. Nebraska outscored UCLA 6-0 in the fourth quarter.
I forgot that game. I've tried to put that game out of my mind. That was one of my last favorite football games of a decade in terrible football games.
A sneaky worst game of last year is UCLA. Like, I know the final score is not as bad as Indiana. UCLA was horrible. That was a miserable experience. They were down 27-7.
It was legitimately one of the, I don't know. It wasn't like, I say it was one of the least enjoyable football games I've ever watched. And that's kind of not true because obviously super painful ones, but at least those give you some kind of like memory. I don't know. It was just the most, there's just nothing exciting or enjoyable about it at any point at all.
USC rather 7-0. They beat Nebraska in the fourth quarter.
God, that Nebraska gave up the fourth down. Remember that?
I do.
Yes,
I very much do. Nebraska beat UCLA or Wisconsin 10-8 in the fourth quarter. Hey, kids,
they almost made it close.
They did. Yeah. You want to get really depressed? Iowa 10, Nebraska 0 in the fourth quarter.
Okay.
And finally, Boston College 13, Nebraska 0 in the fourth quarter of the bowl game. Wow, that is bad.
Yeah, like I knew it was bad, but when you go through it like that one by one, it's time to have an intervention. This is officially a problem, right?
Oh wow.
Yes, it's time to say, listen, it's been called many things, right? They play to their competition, or they don't have the killer instinct, or they are losing close games. But you could say it in a little bit more concise way to some degree, is that they're no good in the fourth quarter. And
does Nebraska have a fourth quarter problem?
In fact, you should look at Rhule's first year.
Dude, thank you. I was actually literally going to do that. So let's go back to 2023 now for a moment and see what Nebraska did in the fourth quarter and see if this is also depressing. All right, the opener versus Minnesota. Minnesota outscored Nebraska.
Was terrible.
10-3 in the
absolutely
fourth quarter.
Terrible.
Colorado 13, Nebraska 7 in the fourth quarter. Yikes!
And that was terrible.
Nebraska outscored Northern Illinois 14-8 in Matt Rhule's first win.
8.
Yeah. And hey, Jack, you don't like that score? Well, how do you feel about Nebraska 14, La Tech 7 in Nebraska's 28-14 win?
Yeah,
we did a watch party for that game.
That was when they stopped it for rain. And and Nebraska was in trouble when they went in.
Yes, and stopped they were.
They almost lost that game.
Okay. Yeah, the aforementioned Joshua Fleeks game, Michigan 10, Nebraska 7 in the fourth quarter.
Game was over. It doesn't matter.
Nebraska's Friday night win in Champaign against Illinois was actually 0-0. But remember how Nebraska had like the ball on the Illinois side of the field, like every damn possession, but they kept turning it over?
Emmett Johnson had one of his only fumble that year in that game.
Didn't Malachi have a really nice fourth quarter catch though in that game to move the chains? I think early in the second quarter.
I would say that was. The
defense was awesome.
Really good. Was really
defense
good.
Was great.
I think they won that. I will give them obviously a win. And if you held even with them and you beat them on the road, that's a thumbs up. One thumbs up in the fourth quarter.
Nebraska 7, Northwestern 3 in Nebraska's 17-9 win over Northwestern. Here's a weird one, Jack. They were out. Oh, sorry.
I've actually eliminated that Northwestern game from my head, I believe.
I remember it for going to my mother-in-law's birthday party that night is how I remember that game. Watching the end of the game and then leaving for the party. Here's one, Jack, that is nowhere near as indicative of the ass whooping that Nebraska gave Purdue. But Purdue outscored Nebraska 14-10 in the fourth quarter of Nebraska's 31-14 win. Remember, because Jeff Sims came on the field and they decided to fart around and turn the ball over for no reason.
Oh, that's right.
Remember that game?
Wasn't is this just an equipment problem or something? Was that game?
No, I think or did Harburg get actually hurt?
That was Maryland that I'm thinking of. Okay, so the Purdue all right, they won that one in the fourth quarter. Yes, we're good on that one.
Purdue won that game 14-10 in the fourth quarter.
Oh,
Purdue won.
Okay. Yeah, they had more points. Got it. All right, that's out.
And now let's get to
just Illinois.
Nebraska 7, Michigan State 7, and Nebraska's lost to Michigan. Maryland 6, Nebraska 0, and Nebraska's lost to Maryland.
Neither, obviously, killed.
Nebraska outscored Wisconsin 3-0 in the fourth quarter, but overtime did not go Nebraska's way. They outscored 7-0. And finally, Iowa 3, Nebraska 0 in the Black Friday Spectacular 2 seasons ago.
So we've got the Illinois game, his first year for sure. We've got, what do we say for the Purdue game?
Purdue is with a bullet. The answer to this
we have 2 games that we feel confident out of 2 years. 2 games that we feel confident Nebraska won the fourth quarter.
Yeah,
confident that Nebraska was significantly the better team in the fourth quarter, given whatever the game context demanded.